you guys. My name is Jania Moore, also known as the Fire Starter, and y'all just tuning in. Come on in, share, invite your followers because this is the cry of a nation where your voice can be heard. So I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds. Listen, share, 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 thumbs up, share, 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 invite your followers, share, share, share. Listen, because we're gonna be talking about the vaccine. Yes, the vaccine. One more time. Part 2 of the COVID vaccine. So I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds. Share this video. Tag some people right now because we're about to get all the way into it. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing, invite your followers in that 30 seconds little break there. My name is Jania Moore, and this is a cry of a nation where your voice can be heard. And we are talking about part 2 of the vaccine. Yes, the COVID vaccine. This is a very important topic that needs to be discussed. I hear the voices crying out the wilderness. I hear the people talking about it so much amongst each other. I see the post. So I was like, listen, we need to talk about this again because there are so many concerns when it comes to the COVID vaccine. Should you take it? Should you not? What is the pros and cons? Is it safe? Is people dying? We're going to talk about all those things right now, but I am not going to be blabbering on no further. I am going to invite our guest, his special guest. She is no stranger to the shows or any shows that I do. She is an author of many, many books. Listen, I can't keep up, okay? Y'all better keep up and y'all purchase these books. Listen. So we're going to invite right now Dr. Jennifer Gilbert to the show, y'all. So give her a round of applause and welcome her right now, Doctor. Thank you so much for coming on. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It is so much to you. I'm just going to give this opportunity for you to just go ahead and glorify yourself. Like Paul said, I can ought, I have a right to ought, like boast if I really want to. So I don't want you to necessarily boast and get in trouble, but I want you to tell the people who you are and what you do.
Well, I am Dr. Jennifer Gilbert, as you so eloquently said. I am an author, I'm a publisher, I'm an educator, I'm a motivational speaker, you name it, we do it all in the love of Christ. You can find out more about me on jgilbertministries.com. All of the great things we have going on.
Awesome. We're going to get a little bit into that, but we're going to dive into this topic because I invited you on because I saw some things that you post on your Facebook page. Also, too, I know you're for the people. I know you're for the people. Okay. I've been a recipient of that. I know that you cry out for them. You pray for the people. You're an advocate. You will be in any position. You will serve at the door, you will serve the food, you clothe somebody, you address them, you will give them your money out of your pocket, whatever you can do. I know that you're for the people. So I wanted you to talk right now. Let's start off with where you're located and what have you been experiencing when it comes to the COVID by itself. We're not even at the vaccine yet.
Well, I live in Houston, Texas, which, was a hot spot, major hot spot for the COVID. I'm a COVID survivor. I had COVID pretty much the month of July, and it was very, very difficult. And thank God, it was during the summertime, so we were out of school still. And the sad part was I was homeschooling my grandson and wound up transmitting it to him. And so he didn't have any symptoms. I had his symptoms and mine. It's been really interesting. And now, when we went back to school, we were very, very concerned on how is it going to look? How are we going to be able to multitask, if you would? And, by the grace of God, we've been making it happen.
Wow, that is amazing. So they did say, kids have their immune system is a lot stronger than ours, honey. Once you get of age
Yes,
and aging, stuff don't bounce back
yeah,
like it used to. You know what I'm saying? They don't fight back like
girl.
it used to. So thank God that he did not, get those symptoms, or it did not affect the children as much as possible.
Right,
Kudos to that. Absolutely.
right,
So
absolutely.
recovering from that, because that's a lot too, and I think a lot of people not understanding there's different strands and there's different types of COVID right now. Because I've seen
Hmm.
people get it like a little strong cold, like maybe a little
Right.
flu
Hmm.
symptoms, like, and then I've seen those that was on respirators that they would had to quarantine for
Hmm.
a month, not even 2 weeks in the hospital, and couldn't even walk afterwards, and all
Right.
this stuff, right? So
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
you seen that in your area? Because you say you're in Houston, and Houston got hit pretty bad when it comes to the COVID.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I've seen, as you said, every end of the spectrum. When I got COVID, like I said, my grandson, he had no symptoms. And so because I didn't want him to give it to his mom who works at the hospital, I kept him with me for as long as I could. And because
Mhm.
he had no symptoms, he was fine. Then I was like, hey, this is your baby. You going to come get your baby so I can get me together, you know? And it got bad, and I wish that I could get people to understand that when you recover from COVID, I don't want to say you're never the same, but some people, such as myself,
Wow.
is still not the same, especially with the weather changing. I still have to get on the breathing machine from, every now and again, because you'll get that good wheezing, and it's been really difficult. I've known some people who lived through it, and unfortunately, I know some people who died from it. And even us as singers, when we were when the churches were closed, everybody's church, we were still doing virtual services. And so as a singer, we would go into church and we're singing, not realizing that as a singer, you're more um,
Wow,
susceptible
exposed.
to it because you're expelling the air and you're taking it in and you're not thinking about what's around you. And so I have background singers and all of that. And so it was really, really difficult.
Wow. I'm gonna touch on that a little bit. And just I want you to learn, because it just takes me to a thought of them. Now, do you agree with them having the churches closed then?
I do believe that, it's a time for churches to close. And it's for a number of reasons, not just for COVID, but I think that we as the church, we as the congregants, we as the leaders, we all needed a time to reset and to
Mm,
reevaluate personally
mm-hmm.
our relationship with the Lord. What better time to do it than now? When I know for myself as ministry, in ministry and all of that, a lot of times you feel obligated, like I gotta go to church, I gotta do this, I gotta do. And so, some of the blessed parts of COVID is that it took away that guilt. It took away that, oh man, I gotta go. You know what I mean? And brought us back to what all started, to having an unadulterated relationship with the Lord, period. So I believe that it was a good time for churches to close, and I believe that now that churches are starting to open back up, then hopefully we'll see the influx. The Bible says it like this. He said, "Let the wheat and the tare grow together, and let me do the separating." And I feel like He used COVID to do the separate. And so when the churches open back up, I believe that we'll have more wheat coming versus the tare.
Wow. Wow. I'm glad you said that, Dr. Gilbert. I'm definitely glad
Mhm.
you hit on that. Um, because a lot of people, even myself, I was like, listen, I gotta go to church, I gotta be in this building, I gotta be here. But I completely understand how those in leadership
Mhm.
needed to regroup, and find themselves, and we all need to do that, even as a saint, not just the leaders, but we
Right.
all needed to find ourselves in
Right.
God and not those leaders and not the
Mhm.
pastor and not the
Right.
music and the woo-ha, you know. So
Mhm.
that is
Mhm.
good, because it did affect.
Mhm.
I think it affected the church in many ways, and the whole structure
Right.
of church has changed
Mhm.
because of COVID. I think I also too I
Mhm.
believe that people don't realize God hears our cries. God hears our complaints and our murmuring
Mhm.
from when we was complaining
Right.
about these church folks. And then he said, okay, well, shut it all down. I'm allow this to happen to shut it all
Right.
down. And we complain about not being able to go. So we just some murmuring people, right? Like, get it together, get yourself together, find yourself, you know,
Right.
find me
Right.
and you,
Right.
you know, right?
Mhm.
So now we got the COVID. Now, let's hit on this too real quick before I move on. You said you had the COVID in July of 2020,
Mhm.
and we're in January 2021, and you're still experiencing the after effects. That's how,
Right.
I mean, I can't even find the word I'm looking for, but that's how impactful this disease, this virus can affect your body. I'm gonna ask you a personal question.
Mhm.
You can easily say you don't want to answer
Sure.
this because I didn't prepare you for this, right? But
I don't want to answer.
so the
Oh,
Dr. Ike spoke about black and brown. He said a lot of times we have underlying conditions that weakens our immune system and
mhm.
causes it be more a battle when it comes to fighting. Did that play a factor in you or anyone that you knew underlying conditions, meaning high blood pressure, asthma, different things like that, cholesterol, high cholesterol, low cholesterol? Was those things played a factor in the weakening of, or made it a part of battle per se?
Right. Well, for me, I'm a cancer survivor. And
Okay.
so
Okay.
that played a big part in it as well.
Okay.
I'm 6, it's about to be 6 years cancer free, thank God. But it does play with my immune system, and then I'm a fluffy girl. So it's a lot of different things. And then, on top of that, I do have asthma. So I hadn't had any asthma issues in years. But
Mhm.
now, what I'm saying, it's like it's there. But I know
It's
some people who are perfectly healthy, those health gurus who eat the right and do the right stuff, and they live in the gym and all of that. I've seen it affect them in the same way. So it's
okay.
not like, whoo, okay, my quarantine days is over and I'm good. You still have to pace yourself, because even after my days of quarantine, I found myself, and I would post about it. I was very transparent about my journey, and I would be like, yeah, today is a good day. And then the next day, like I would have one good day and 4 bad days. And then so I felt
Mhm.
like I had to do everything in that one good day,
Mhm.
overexert myself and find myself on my back again. And so that's one of the biggest things. Even when I talk to other, COVID survivors, I'm like, hey, you still have to pace yourself. No matter what age you are, no matter what graphic, black, brown, blue, green, purple, fat, any, it don't matter. You still have to pace yourself to get back to where you once were.
Wow, that's some great points. Because a lot of time I've seen it, people get it. I've seen and heard where after they say, okay, well, quarantine yourself about 14 days, then you can come back to work. Then you can go back
Mhm.
to regular service.
Society,
And it
right,
doesn't work that way without even taking a
right.
test to come back. Let's be clear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Some employers are not
Mm-hmm.
even knowing that they have or had the COVID or been exposed. They're not making them
Mm-hmm.
go take the test again before they come back. Why is that?
That's a good question. And the sad part is the media plays a big part in it. Back when I had COVID, you did have to stay in home for 14 days. And then now they've decreased it to 5 days. And so, it's decreasing the number. And here I work in a school. I'm, a part of the administration at a school. And so we've had with breakouts, and they would literally like close the building for the weekend, like 4 days. You know what I mean? Like one time we broke out on a Wednesday, they closed it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then we went back to school. And, it's just been that way. And it's different for each employer, but I believe, all of us are trying to find a new sense of normalcy. And so they're trying to miss it. And unfortunately, some are sweeping it up under the rug. They won't even tell you, oh, well, such and such had COVID, and I know it's a HIPAA thing, but you don't have to tell me who it was. Just say that we had an occurrence here on campus, so I'll know what I need to do for me.
Right, exactly.
But they're not doing that. Yeah. And I mean, you think about if they're like that in the small school where I work at, or even in the major districts, think about Walmart and Target and all of these other ones. They're not telling anybody.
And truthfully, HIPAA, ain't nobody think about HIPAA. You need to tell me who it is, and I need to think about how long I was in front of their face. Like, mask or no mask, you need to tell me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What do you mean, HIPAA?
Right.
Listen, HIPAA don't care right now.
Exactly.
This is a whole nother level. You need to tell me who it is.
Right.
So I can be like, okay, I did walk past them, or I did shake their hand, or whatever, right? So, but we all got to do those precautions, and I'm glad you clarified that up. And I just want to emphasize on those that do have underlying conditions or have experienced some things. Be mindful. You should. Like, I carry hand sanitizer. I give my children hand sanitizer. I have multiple face masks in my car. I make sure my son has face masks in his car. Use those precautions. Yes, it does feel like a muzzle.
Right.
Yes, it does feel like, but the muzzle may save your life. Okay.
Right.
So use those precautions, especially if right? Like you said, those fluffy ones, right? Especially if you know you got things going on, you don't want to be that person that spreads it. So we definitely want to do that. Right. So we talked real quick off air, and once again I want to just hit on this, and this is a very sensitive subject, and I do not take our conversation lightly at all. I think you know me well enough by now. I don't. I've seen where you have posts about, and we're going to talk about the vaccine now. Because the people are fearful. I see it on both sides. I see people cheering, excited, posting pictures. Like I talk about my brother, he did the dry bag vaccine in California. They was cars lined up, shot him in his arm. They said, wait 5 minutes and then pull off. And then he waited 5 minutes and pull off. You know what I'm saying? So in that culture, they were celebrating it, right? How is it in Houston? We're going to target that area because Houston was a big, a red zone, so to speak. They had a lot of cases there. Do you see the culture in Houston taking the vaccine?
It's mixed. It literally, if I was to give a very unofficial Dr. Gilbert post, I would say it might be about 50-50. Because even at our school, our principal, he's the oldest person in the building, love him to death, but he came back from the Christmas break and he was bragging that he had the vaccine, and we all looking like, are you crazy? You know what I mean? And then, and us as teachers, I feel like we should have been a part of the first group. I really do. If you're going to get it, we're as vital as those other frontline workers working in the hospital. Why? Because we're still dealing with the public. We're dealing with people's children who people are bringing their children to school and they know that they have COVID. Or, they'll give them Tylenol because all we do is take their temperature. They'll give them Tylenol before they bring them to school, and by the time the motion run off, the school day is over. They done went and got their work on, and you know what I mean. Now you've exposed us to it. So it's a divide. It's really a divide on, should I not? I'm gonna wait a minute. I'm gonna see, and I'm sure that's the temperature across the nation. I'm gonna wait and see who fall out first. And as long as everybody good, when I see this person and you still here and you got all your limbs, all right, I might consider. You know what I mean? But we know that it's happening because they can't even keep up with the vaccine. Like, they don't have enough. And they're opening up all of these hubs, but you don't have any supplies. I mean, like, what's the point?
And then it's like, so I've been doing some research. Okay, there's two different companies out there, Moderna and also Pfizer, that has the vaccine. But Moderna, I know you do too. I don't know about Pfizer's. Like, so are they the same? They can't be the same. They're two different companies. So that's just confusing all by itself.
Right. I think that there is one that you only get one, and then there's one that you get two. Both of them are supposed to be is equally effective, if you would. They're saying. But here's the thing. What people are not saying, and what I hope that people hear from this conversation is to learn how to critically think. It's okay to watch the news and listen to what they're saying, but it's just like conversations, we're single, conversations with men. I hear what you're saying, but let me hear what you're not saying too. So you're saying everybody wants the vaccine, everybody's getting vaccinated, but you don't have any vaccine. So how is that possible? And then you're saying you got all of these people who took the first shot, but you've run out of vaccines and it's time for them to get their second shot. Like, how are you doing that? And then, let's get into the family divide. You have people in one household who half of the household got the vaccine and the other half didn't. So what do you do? And one thing that I learned yesterday, I was talking to one of my doctor friends as I was preparing for this today, and she made it aware. She actually went on the news and she even made it aware that you're not vaccinated, quote unquote. Is with, I think the Pfizer is the one that you get the 2 shots. You're not fully immune to the vaccine. I mean, immune to the COVID until after you get your second shot, and a week after you get your second shot. So that means that when I got the first shot, I'm still susceptible to receiving this virus. And so even when I wait those 3 weeks or whatever to get the shot, after the second shot, I'm still prone to receive it for a week.
Right.
So how do you know? You know what I mean? So I believe that we have to be critical thinkers when we're listening to the media, when we're listening to what other people are saying, when we're watch with that critical eye and ask God, what is it that I need to do? I'm not telling people to or not to get the virus. I mean, not to get the vaccine. I'm not saying that at all. I believe that just like, Christianity, you move on your own conviction, but make it an informed decision.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think about the people who went and got the vaccine, or who, they tested on the little research dummies or whatever you want to call them. Who were they? Where they come from? Did they have any underlying issues? As I said, I'm a cancer survivor, so my doctor is telling me right now they didn't test anybody with, who was a cancer survivor. So we're saying, hold on, you know what I'm saying? But then I saw one of my friends today who, she's a cancer survivor, but she got the vaccine. The difference is she's like 10 years out. I'm only 5 years out, and I've had 3 scares in those 5 years. So it's a lot of different things that you have to take into consideration. And then watch this, because I had the COVID and I'm a cancer survivor, it's making them say, oh, well, you don't really qualify, even though you're a part of group 1B. Yeah,
That's interesting.
it's a lot.
That's interesting. That is
Mm-hmm.
definitely a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot. That's why we're talking about this.
Right.
And I appreciate you telling the
Mm-hmm.
viewers to listen. Use your own discretion. Don't allow the media
Right.
or nobody to dictate what's best for your household.
Right.
And then also too, it plays a factor in your
Right.
position. You are essential worker. They may be
Mm-hmm.
assuming because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of kids may not have it, but we forget about the carriers. We forget about that part
Right.
because they still could be
Mm-hmm.
carriers
Right.
of it and can still transport the
Right.
the
Right.
virus, and it could definitely happen. So
Right.
definitely use discretion. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're comfortable with the vaccine, then that's your decision. If you're not comfortable with it, that's your
Right.
decision as well. You know, but don't be led by the
Right.
old
Right.
folks.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
agree with that.
And I mean, even the politics, so many people, when I remember when Trump had supposedly gotten COVID and everybody was like, oh my, he's healed, he's great. My personal opinion, I just really have a hard time believing as a COVID survivor that you bounce back that quickly. Like, where they do that at?
Which you have? Which you have?
Yeah, you know what I
They need to
mean?
pass that
I
drug
got
around
insurance too.
there.
Yeah, right. So it's a lot.
Exactly.
We don't want to get caught in the bandwagon of it. Tyler Perry took his shot. I think it was yesterday or day before, and I thought that it was very heroic of him to say, "I'm not getting the shot because I want you to get the shot. I'm just letting you know I can get the shot." But you do what's best for you. And I
Right.
feel that's the position that we have to take when we're talking to people and we're dealing with people, especially in the public eye. I believe that we should respect their decision. It's just like voting. If you decide to vote this way or that way, I respect your decision. I just hope it's an informed one.
Absolutely. And that too. And listen, and whatever decision you make is your decision. I'm still going to support you as an individual. I think we get misconstrued with
Right.
whose side are you leaning on? And if you ain't leaning on my side,
Right.
not the lower side, if you ain't leaning on my side, I don't like you no more. Like, stop it. Stop it. People
Right.
have grown in their
Right.
own lives. They not living
Right.
on you. You're not benefiting them. So we need to
Right.
really definitely stop doing that.
Right.
I saw the picture. I did not see the video of him taking it. Any celebrity that goes on camera to it's a photo op. Like I just don't agree with it. And now if he did it and post a picture later and say, "Hey, I took it," okay, then you just saying, But you got to make this whole okay. I guess let me digress.
Right.
Anywho, if I say something like for real, okay, it's a photo. Like,
right.
No, don't do that. If you're gonna take it, so be
right.
it. If you're not, so be it. But I just want to get you the information that you need to make that sound decision. And I really believe that you did that, Doc. I thank you so much for coming on. We're gonna wrap this up. If y'all have any questions for the doctor, listen, if you want to just ask her for any advice, you want to know you want to know who she is, and you want to connect with her. She has many books out. She has a lot of products coming out. Listen, you want to know who Dr. Gilbert is. So right now, just go ahead one more time. Just let them know where they can follow you and be a part of your tribe.
Absolutely. JGilbertMinistries.com. That's my website, and you can see all things J. Gilbert Ministries, 365, J. Gilbert Ministries Publishing, everything that we're doing there. I'm worst when it comes to social media. My personal page is Jennifer Shonuff Bless Gilbert, and that's primarily where I am. I have the other accounts, but I don't know what they are.
No problem.
Let you know how much I'm on them.
I'm like, listen, it's Snapchat, all these other listen, all these other. I ain't about
I
got time for
I
that.
get all of these, girl. I'm gonna be on Snapchat. I'm gonna be facing on the, on the Google. I can't. It's just too much. It's
I
just
can't,
too
it can't
much.
keep
It's too
up.
much. Give me one show
Shoot.
that I know. In a
It's a
minute, I'm gonna
whole
be back on
job.
my
This
space.
it's a whole job to keep up with this media stuff. But
Right.
but I thank you once
Right.
again, Doc. Keep us posted on stuff that you got going on, so I can definitely share. And I just appreciate your time. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you
Absolutely.
have a wonderful day, and I will speak with you soon.
You too.
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, you guys, y'all heard it from the doctor herself. This is Jania Moore, and I am also the fire starter, as well as this is the Cry of a Nation, where your voice can be heard. If you have important topics that you want me to discuss, please leave a comment as well. Listen, there's no judgment at all if you decide to get the vaccine or not. I just want to get you some information. So talk to you guys later. Until next time, y'all stay blessed. Bye-bye.